comes from money where you're not fish. Pushing where the crowd is. Baby, put your hands up. We didn't set a line to see us in the papers. We don't look like common, but it's a no-brainer. We already run it. I'ma take my time with it. Show you what you got with it. Ooh. If you know what you are, then you already know who to try. And if you really want it all, meet me on the weekend.
Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2. What a bunch of really funny games starring funny mammals. Yep, I wanted to revive this just to talk about these games in depth because I couldn't in the Dreamcast video, and unfortunately they are very linked to my autism. Do I love these games? Yes, but also there's something appealing to autistic people. Like me. Mostly when it comes to the story, but also with plenty of other elements. However, you need to know about the context first before we talk about the games. Kids games! The Klonoa games are probably one of the very few platformers from this era that have a serious story. The only other one being Mega Man X, which is a Mega Man spin-off made for the slightly older kids. Other than that, Funny Crash, Funny Banjo-Kazooie, and Funny Spyro. Yes, that's the only Spyro game I have legally. The only other ones I have are demos. All simple yet funny. Just like Bubsy. Sonic wanting to create these big immersive cutscenes that feel like you're watching a movie feels both natural yet stuck out like a sore thumb. Big ambitious anime storyline. After all, it was in the Ambition era where Sega decided to publish Shenmue, Space Channel 5, D2, etc. All very big ambitious games with big ambitious production values. So of course Sonic is going to be like that, as Sonic of course is their mascot. I just wish it wasn't rushed as every other Sega console's launch. It probably would have flopped more though. Either way, Sonic Adventure has a very big complex story, able to tackle multiple points of views, thus being able to explore deeper subjects, then being able to slightly discover the villain's perspective. As much as I think other forms of media had a way to explore the villain's perspectives, rarely did you get to see their full side of the story. Sonic Adventure tackling the perspective, morality, etc. of Eggman's robots felt so dang refreshing at the time. Even Robotnik from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was not as nuanced or interesting as in this game, although he steals the show. This willingness to want to understand the antagonist feels very autistic. You cannot tell me that most fanfictions involving villains and exploring their point of views are not made by neurodivergent people trying to experiment with the media they're passionate about. So I would consider 102 Gamma's story to be basically that, but in published video game form. Approved by big corpos. It makes sense, as part of the fun of Sonic Adventure is to unravel all of the big mystery behind everything. Who is that purple cat? Where did the chow come from? What even is this pink light thingy? Questions that get answered while you're playing and unlocking everyone else's stories. The idea that the more characters you meet, the more you unlock their stories is marvelous. So much creativity comes from this idea, especially in a platformer that usually has 2 or 3 or maybe 4 at most characters max. Due to that, Sonic Adventure stands out as an adventure platformer, but also gets wildly imbalanced. Sonic goes through about 10 levels, while mostly everyone goes through 5 levels. Aside from maybe Big and Amy, who get 3 levels. With Big, I kinda get it. He exists for variety. You can say he's a big part of the game. I feel like the goofiness of the character balances out E102 Gamma's most darker existential moments. Big belongs here. I love him, especially more due to the awkwardness of the voice acting.
I'm out of control! Mayday! Mayday! Going down! Ah!
The raw imperfection that really helps me relate to these characters. So many pauses, so much struggle.
Gee, I'm bored. Every day's the same old thing. Same place, different day. I miss the good old days.
I love it. Translating is hard, while I believe that punching up the dialogue to match the lips sounds like a pain, especially when the deadline is close with 3D faces that don't look like 2D faces. Crash did it, so maybe we can do it for next gen hardware in a limited time with all of the pressure resting on us. So playing Sonic Adventure feels awkward and my autism is here for it. Let's not pretend that JRPGs had the most perfectly translated dialogue neither. It's just that neither Final Fantasy games nor Dragon Quest got any voice acting. So of course Sonic Adventure looked odd. I like it. The character animations look pretty janky too, thus making the 30 frame per second graphics age weirdly. I'm sure other games from that era age weirdly as well, and I am here for it. Even Malice Doll is one heck of an early CG ride. Great! By comparison, the CG cutscenes look so much more advanced than anything else at the time. They just rarely come off, so whatever. God, I love this gameplay. Floaty, janky, fun. I know floaty controls can ruin some people's experiences, but I disagree. Sometimes you don't want games with perfectly fine-tuned controls. I need something different.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Woohoo!
Finny the fish be damned. It's the variety of the gameplay as well as the level designs that just work. So the game has 6 characters, most of them going through the same levels. How do you make the player not bored? Gameplay mechanics! Each character has their own gameplay style. Sonic's normal, Tails races, Amy gets chased by a robot that constantly jump scares her, Knuckles searches for hidden Master Emerald shards, Big Fishes, and E102 Gamma shoots things, as well as an existential crisis. You must master every gameplay type in order to actually beat the game and get the secret ending. Whoa! Due to that and most sections of each character being different from each other, it adds variety. I like it. That combined with different cutscenes for each character makes the whole thing look like an adventure. Gosh darn the Upworlds. I used to roleplay with my friends in them, even pretended that Tails Workshop had barrels of non-specific alcohol in them, which is something most kids/teenagers do. It's funny because it's a very non-specific type of alcohol. I remember playing Sonic Adventure DX while literally 5 other kids were watching. Get a load of this! Even today, talking to the NPCs who react to the events and that all have their sub-stories just makes this world feel alive. Sonic Unleashed side quests expanded on that concept, which makes sense as the game was supposed to be Sonic Adventure 3, but that's another story for another time. Sonic Adventure 1's Upworld is fun. fun. Even exploring to find every upgrade can feel satisfying, as everything just fits well thanks to the level design managing to make buildings, forests, etc. so dang fun to explore, yet feel like actual locations. The egg carrier though clashes with all of the other hub worlds. Rather than just looking like a final level, it works like Kingman's home, full of constructions as well as entertainment, taking the time to explore his bedroom, his pool, etc. just shows how Eggman lives. Environmental storytelling. Like every good RPG, there's a prison escape. These hub worlds are so cool, even if quite a few things get left to interpretation, including this monkey destruction switch and stones. I kinda love this game's exploration aspects, even when it comes to finding emblems. Alright, emblems. I love them as you get emblems from accomplishing missions, even if a few localization issues pop up here and there. You can also find them in the overworld. It's due to that aspect of knowing where everything is that my autistic ass played through Sonic Adventure multiple times that I'm like, what if there was something I didn't know? Spooky. Watching people play it in a way I can't understand feels forbidden. I didn't know electric chairs existed in the Sonic universe until last year. So what if someone made an horror web series about it? Sonic Adventure The Forgotten Files plays into my autism spheres to explore secrets that were never meant to be found. It probably is my favorite web series of all time, next to Petscop and maybe or something else. I'll think about it and just put it there. Sonic Outer Lands is also very great. It's just that one YouTuber doing the analysis started complaining about autistic children, so I refuse to be associated with that YouTuber ever. However, I am hyped for Sonic Outer Lands. Back to Sonic Adventure. I don't particularly care which version I'm playing, but it's going to be for consoles. I use PC for other stuff, so no matter how many comments I get about mods, I do not care. Not everyone needs to experience media the way you do, or the superior version. Even less if you're writing someone else's opinion. I love Sonic Adventure DX, it's just the crunchiness of the Dreamcast graphics that attract me more. Yummy crunch. That said, the mission mode feels tacked on with its vague instructions, which sound even more confusing due to the localization. That said, clearing them encourages exploration to unlock the Game Gear titles, and my god, we will come back to that in the Chao Garden later. Music is great, each character, except Gamma, gets their own theme. Now to the game that defined my teenage years. As much as I had played classic Sonic games on the Genesis, it was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle that really defined my hyperfixation on Sonic. Sorry for not hearing your pleas, little brother. This was the Nintendo house. All we played was Nintendo. I did not care about Mario even more in that era, especially due to the way Mario Sunshine turned out. But at least there was Luigi's Mansion, which I liked a lot more. I don't want to go over Mario's output in this era, because there are a lot of games, but let's just say that I really didn't care about 90% of them at the time. Nowadays I like them, but Paper Mario was the first Mario game I bought at launch. And even then, I did not particularly care about it, and I do not particularly care about it now. That period of not caring about Mario lasted a little while, but then I started caring about Mario again thanks to Super Paper Mario. But then it wouldn't come back until 2014, where I stopped caring about Mario spin-offs ever since. Sonic, however, was a whole other can of worms. Oh my god. I flipped through the French-Canadian Nintendo magazine, which I made a whole video about by the way, only to find the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle Strategy Guide. The first thing being detailed was the Chao Garden for 2 pages. That alone made me feel like it was the old game. I would probably buy it only for that. And I turned the page! And okay, it's an action platformer split across 6 characters, both on the good and the evil sides. You can now play as evil people. If I got stuck on one side, I could go on the other. So let's just ask for it for my birthday, plus another controller. My only experience with Sonic was Sonic Underground, like many kids my age. And what an experience that was! So here's the thing, in Canada, no Nintendo games were in French. All they had was a French manual. Seriously. Aside from Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, there weren't really that many French games on Nintendo consoles. When Sonic gets French in-game text, and also French subtitles, as well as the manual obviously, it was very impressive at the time. You could even select the voices. Yes, the voices, Japanese or English, take your pick. Let's just say that this felt a bit like a culture shock. I discovered something other than the Wahoo Man and his friends. An enlightening experience indeed. Another aspect I got to explore was the story. Much more dynamic than Sonic Adventure 1's JRPG story. It goes so many places in so many creative ways. Both stories are connected in a very similar way as Sonic Adventure 1, it's just that instead of following 6 stories, you follow 2 stories, which is, let's just say, more accessible. That said, the aspect of the mystery was truly the thing that hooked me about it. I usually skip cutscenes in video games, but this one was movie quality, so I did not want to miss anything. This made me want to be patient with my video games and their story. You can often tell that quite a few people that grew up with Mario and not much else have a tendency to skip cutscenes, since the gameplay can feel a bit more important. But here, it's presented like a TV show. You need patience. I love how these titles can act as a cool entry point for kids to get more invested in video game stories. However, unlike in the previous title, no real hub world exists here, only a map. And even then, you don't get to see it unless you replay the level. The atmosphere is more similar to an action Hollywoodian movie, rather than a JRPG. This is probably Hideo Kojima's favorite Sonic game. Sonic Adventure 2 manages to look even cooler than the first game, because the characters are now taller, making these characters feel more like teenagers than ever before. At least it's not Ryder's tall. So let's just say that all of this, along with the music, made me overdose on coolness. Like very similar to Tony Hawk. Mario and the Gang song are really neat, but vocal tracks? Sonic had plenty of them, like a lot of them. Vocal songs made especially for this game? Yes, please! That paired with the levels that put a lot more emphasis on the action rather than anything else made this game so much more cooler than any platformer I played before. I love the soundtrack so much that I asked my father to legally burn the soundtrack for our personal use only. Yep, I am saying it this way because YouTube. Okay, so these last weeks have been quite low-key crazy for me, but whatever, I'll try finishing up this thing and... Sonic soundtrack opened me to a whole world of pop rock music. Okay, maybe the Digimon movie and What's New Scooby-Doo helped a surprising amount. Also, I wasn't the only person involved with the game, as my siblings joined too. As much as I enjoyed the game, gaming is a family thing. So of course my siblings joined in the same way we've all played Mario 64, Glover, and Quest 64. Also, our first game was the 7th Saga on Super Nintendo, and I'm low-key kinda confused about that, but whatever. But the reason why our save file is still intact to this day, with over 485 hours, is the Chao Garden. While designing Nights into Dreams, Sonic Team made the A-Life system with the Nightopians. So they risked that, called them Chaos because symbolism, and just put them in Sonic Adventure 1. Then they reused them in Sonic Adventure 2. They live, they lie. The AI has multiple behaviors, even in competitions. These competitions, despite the limited interactions, give you a reason to raise the chows the way you want. The problem with the OG Sonic Adventure is that while some animals you collect in the levels can raise your stats, they can also lower others. They also give you a certain kind of characteristics for your chows, but I prefer my chows not to look like that. Sorry. These chows even have different forms depending on who you raise them with and how. Hence why I prefer chaos drives which don't lower your stats. That paired along with the snappiness of the levels makes grinding not too much of a pain. Also, the levels last a respectable amount of time, unlike in other Sonic entries. So it's satisfying to complete levels multiple times, especially when they give you 5 objectives per level. Those objectives get pretty varied, which can be a good thing or straight up terrible. At least the emblems give you a couple of rewards. Fun rewards. All that combined meant our family got very invested in the game. I won't talk about any childhood friend who had a crush on Shadow though. We already have enough people crushing on Shadow. But also, all of my class knew about it, and I got one of my friends invested by saying, no, this really isn't Pokemon, because Pokemon was really hated back in 2003. So by exchanging memory cards, we created a mini Sonic community. I loved it, although it showed me one thing. Girls fucking love video games too. I did not get beaten multiple times at the multiplayer mode by girls just to get told by the internet to gatekeep the games from the females. Plus, Amy Rose is OP. The woke mind virus struck again. Either way, the chows being more alive than the Pokemons in the most thorough way possible is so dang autistic. So much deaths, so many patterns, so captivating. I am disappointed it wasn't added in Sonic Frontiers even in an update, but I don't mind, especially since other titles were inspired by it. No, more on that later. The only aspect of Sonic Adventure 2 that can feel annoying is how short the game can feel due to its spacing and lack of an upworld. Upgrades also exist, encouraging replayability, but obtaining one of the Knuckles upgrade for the final boss to finish the last levels is a pain. That said, I'm glad some exploration elements were kept, encouraging overall replay value, so I don't mind. I love this game so much. Every level, like SA1, got stuck in my head. Even the car ones. I suppose the multiplayer helps too. Needless to say, because of this game I hyperfixated on Sonic for a good while. I feel like Sega knew this since they released 2 collections plus unlockable Game Gear games. As a proud cheater, I enjoyed playing them via Action Replay, Sonic Blast being the best one. come. Nah, I wish Tails Sky Patrol got remade, or Tails Adventure. Way forward, you know what to do. This godforsaken franchise also had its fandom, as well as plenty of fan material, or just stuff online. So I could say that exploring autistically this franchise felt rewarding. So while Mario got a lot of money from me and the Nintendo 64, this gen was defined by Sonic for me. It certainly was a way to introduce the franchise to Nintendo people, and because of that I ended up buying every mainline Sonic game aside from maybe Sonic 06, because I had no Xbox 360 or PS3. So I thought about it, and maybe I'll talk about games influenced by Sonic Adventure games some other time. All you need to know is that Sonic defined my teenagehood, making me try out new things, such as my favorite game of all time, The World Ends With You. So thank you for watching, please like and subscribe, and bye!